Commissioner, Ella Street Mill LLC and Ella Stanley Land LLC. They are the owners of the property, and those companies are both affiliated with Wind Companies, the developer of the 321 Ella Street, which many of you know is currently under construction. You have over 150 construction workers there every day. You don't see, from the outside, you can't see as much as what's going on the inside at this point in time, but there's an awful lot of work that is leading to a spring 2025 occupancy for 154 units. And as you know, that was the plan was approved to construct that, and at that time there was no plan for the southern portion of the property, and then if it wouldn't work with the current building, it would have been sold off separately. But moving forward, we see that that there's this opportunity now to if you can amend the master plan, which you have the power to do, to allow for this solar array on the southern portion, which will help power the building in a sense that the money will be poured back into the property owner, which would then pass it on to the unit owners. So we're looking at probably over $500 a unit per year savings by having this, and it really is. You heard from the City Plan Commission. It follows along with making the buildings that we're creating now more sustainable, more environmental friendly, and it all fits on this ARUD site, which was again started years ago, and it's had some evolutions over time, but it's really coming along very well. It's going to be a real crown jewel for the city when it's done. And with me tonight are two representatives from Wind Development, and we have Christina McPike and Darian Crimmin, and they'll speak to the more detail about this facility, and then we'll all be happy to answer questions for you. All right, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Christina nominated me to talk tonight about the solar project. I know some of you met her at the property last week and toured the site. My name is Darian Crimmin. I work at Wind Development. I've been there for 15 years, leading the Energy and Sustainability Department. And just really quick, I think you all are familiar with Wind Companies, but we are a family-owned real estate development company based in Boston, but nationwide, with a significant presence in Connecticut and a significant focus on energy and sustainability and improving the efficiency of the housing communities and the affordable housing communities in particular that we own and develop. I've personally developed a few megawatts of solar PV on various properties. We're very familiar with the technology and are really excited about this potential project. So this is the originally approved master plan, just showing the 154 units in the existing mill building that's currently being redeveloped. You can't really tell from this slide, but off to the right is the southern parcel, about 3 acres, which you can see on this slide, which is not part of the redevelopment of the mill just right now. Last year, the parcel was divided, and we're currently proposing an amendment to the ARUD master plan to develop what you see here, which is about 850 kilowatts of solar, the majority of which is ground mounted on this second parcel to the right. Some of the solar will still be on the building. You can see that on the left there. We think this is a great project and a great repurposing of the land, which currently, if you were at the site this past week, it really needs some attention. It needs to be redeveloped into a better use. The solar, we think, is going to significantly improve the neighborhood and the quality of the overall development in the overall ARUD district. It'll generate approximately 1 megawatt hour of solar PV per year. That's equivalent to 700 tons of carbon emissions, or about 160 cars being removed off the road. But the biggest benefit really is the dollar value. The way that this program, or this project is being developed, is through a new program that Connecticut Green Bank and the utilities and DEEP and the state of Connecticut have developed. It's called the RES program, and it basically allows us, through the utilities, to allocate 20% of the financial benefits immediately and automatically to income-eligible residents that are living in the adjacent mill building once it's completed and occupied. And that is really exciting, because that's the whole purpose of the project, is really to facilitate energy savings, electricity savings through clean energy to the residents that live right next door. So if there's 154 residents, we estimate that each resident will receive about $520 a year in a reduction to their electric bill. Again, that's going to be automatic, processed by Eversource. And that type of kind of transaction could be known as community solar. It's something that we're familiar with. We've advocated for this in different states as well as nationally. And effectively, you have a solar facility, it connects to the grid, and then there's some transfer of the value of that to individual electric accounts on a monthly basis. I'm going to keep this really short. I probably missed a few things, but I do want to just address the few comments that Michael Brochu had. So as far as maintenance, solar is very low maintenance. Once or twice a year, there'll be an annual maintenance inspection done, basically checking the electrical connections, potentially washing the panels, but we found that a good rainstorm cleans the panels. We don't typically wash or scrub, and definitely don't power wash our panels currently that we have under operation. There is a slight buzz if you're right next to the inverters, and there will be a few inverters. They won't be anywhere near the Stanley Street side of the lot. They'll be more interior, and you will not be able to hear them more than 20 feet away. They're actually relatively quiet. They're no louder than a pole-mounted transformer that you see on an electric pole. And if you can hear that, you can imagine a similar sound, but these will be very far away. And then the second question was about glare. The panels are going to be at a 20-degree tilt. They'll be facing due south, where there's no residential abutters. And so as the sun tracks, any glare, if there were to be reflected southward. But really the panels are designed to absorb solar, to absorb sunlight, not to reflect it back. So they're not mirrors by any means. They're absorbing the electricity, absorbing the sunlight in order to make the electricity. So the glare is very minimal. So it's not something that we've ever encountered as a concern or a problem. I will leave it there, but happy to answer any questions or.
Thank you. Alderman Smedley?
Can you, whoever's running the slides, can you jump backwards to the revised master plan? That's okay. Where on this?
Oh,
on the
sorry, can you
property
just turn your
is-
microphone on?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Apologize. Where on the property is the utility transformer from Eversource located? Do you know?
I do, yeah. You see the, well, hold on a minute. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. If you see the building, to the right of the building, where the building ends,
Okay.
you see a square box with a couple dots around it. That's the transformer that the solar will connect to.
Oh, yes, right at the edge
Yep.
by the bushes.
Yep,
Okay.
so there'll be underground conduit running from that transformer to the building, and also underground conduit from that transformer to the solar field.
Okay. And based on that location, where are the inverters going to be located?
Not next to the transformer, there'll be a switch there
Yep.
for the solar, but the inverters will be located near the, call it the bottom of the screen, but it's the western side of the lot along the property boundary. And
Okay.
each row of panels will have its own inverter.
Okay. So at the solar field on the train track side
Yes,
of the property, essentially?
exactly, yeah,
Okay. So on the other side of the gentleman's property,
exactly, yeah.
away from? Okay. Thank you. My My experience with solar panel farms is great. As everyone knows here, I'm a champion of them in our school district, and I've installed them in multiple buildings. And the same concerns were arose originally when we installed them in our school system about the noise and the after effects, and we have experienced none, zero problems. Never had to wash them, never had to do anything except the twice yearly maintenance, as you mentioned, to check our connections. So I think this is a great use of the land, which, as Mr. Brochu explained, had ratchet noises and trucks in and out of it, so it will become a much more beautified space with solar panels, I think. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Alderwoman Barbosa.
I have a couple questions. I usually see these farms in large areas such as school grounds and big business buildings. Do you have other areas that you've built residentially that have these farms?
So we've installed solar on the rooftops of about 20 communities. And then separately, we've partnered with various solar developers for about a dozen ground-mounted facilities throughout Massachusetts, not in Connecticut. And it's because the regulations differ in Connecticut. But we are, I'd say, very familiar with both roof-mounted and ground-mounted solar operations.
Chairman? So this is the largest one, the one in New Britain? The largest one you've installed?
Yeah, we installed one in the District of Columbia, which at the time was the largest in DC at 650 kilowatts. This one's slightly larger. We have another one in pre-development about to construct in Massachusetts. That'll be about 800 kilowatts. This is 850, so a little bit larger.
Last question. What are the cons? I know there's pros, but what are the cons to the residents that live in that area?
I don't see any cons. I really don't. You know, we considered just selling the lot and having it totally separate from the residential redevelopment of the mill complex. And in that case, it might be I don't know, self-storage business or some other business that decides to develop that. I think this is a much better use of the land, to be honest. So I don't see any cons.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Alderman Smedley.
What,
I know the answer already, but just for everyone's edification, what will the plantings be around the solar panel farm? Will it be dirt? Will it be gravel? Will it be grass?
So what we're proposing is an improvement to the existing impervious conditions, adding more pervious sections of the lot, specifically around the Stanley Street and then adjacent to the boundary around the solar panels. There'll be mostly grass, except on the Stanley Street, we will add specific plantings, and it will be fenced as well.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Alrighty. Seeing no further discussion, my apologies. The motion to refer with a neutral recommendation is on the table. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Alrighty, motion to adjourn made by Alderman Santiago, seconded by Alderman Hargraves. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed nay. Thank you. We are adjourned. The time is 7 o'clock.